Hey, and welcome to the Big Damn Podcast, the monthly peek behind the scenes of our independent film production and distribution company, Big Damn Films. And welcome to the March edition of the podcast. I'm Michael Doherty, and joining me, as always, is co-owner Logan Liskovic.
Today, we're taking a look back at the first quarter of 2024. Hello.
Hello. Logan.
Yeah.
A lot and a little to talk about at the same time.
A lot and a little. On this episode, you'll hear us grasping for straws. No, just kidding.
You know what? It's accurate. Fuck it, I'll leave it in.
A little bit. I mean, I say it tongue-in-cheek, of course. But look, running a business, regardless of what you see on whatever television show you're watching that's trying to mimic making a business, it's not always that pretty. There's a lot of just minutia and garbage and just day-to-day stuff that you have to do so that the two people who are in the business can both stay out of prison and you can continue. And it's just how it is.
And, you know, it's not just prison, it's the poorhouse.
It's the poorhouse, it's the prison, it's a lot of different places you gotta keep away from nowadays.
And here's the thing is that, look, running a business like this, it is beholden. And this is the same thing with a film set.
Mm-hmm.
Schedule everything to the nth degree.
Yep.
Right? You know when people are going to show up, you know how long a scene's going to take, you know how long setup and teardown's going to be, you know when you should allow. Something's going to go wrong that's beyond your control. Something's going to move the goalpost or the deadline that you don't have any control over.
I mean, it's really what is that? Mike Tyson's or quote that's always attributed to him. Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And you know, business is no different. We've got a plan until something out of our control just takes it away. And then you know what? You just pivot and make a new plan and keep going.
Exactly. But you know what did happen on time?
I do know what did happen on time. We got our taxes done on time. And it ain't pretty. It's not glamorous, but you know what? Keeps us out of the poorhouse, keeps us out of prison, and had to get done.
All the credit in the world goes to our accounting team over at the Harding Group.
Yep.
And we found the Harding Group thanks to Heather Ackroyd, who, just like you, was an extra in Brown Coats Redemption and has been with us the entire time. Yep. And when we relaunched Big Damn Films, one of the things that I wanted that was important to me, that I know was important to you, is that someone else takes care of the financials.
Oh, absolutely. There are a lot of things we can do, and accounting is not one of them.
And the other side of this is that, like, 2023 was the year of I Told You So, thanks to Logan. But it was also the year of, like, what does it cost bare minimum if the world goes wrong and all the projects that we have get pushed? Like, what is it going to cost us? And we learned that number. And that number is not as bad as we thought it was going to be.
It's less than most people's hobbies, probably, if we're being honest.
It's less than I've spent at Dragon Con in any year. I'm going to be completely honest with you. If you add like your hotel room, you add your autographs and food, I have spent 4 times this sometimes at Dragon Con when we were going.
Yeah, and that's just Dragon Con. That's not even counting if you're somebody who goes to a whole bunch of even a lot of regional cons or stuff. Well, there was the year I was promoting Brown Coats where I went to...
We were at a convention every weekend.
I was at a convention almost every weekend, at least 2 a month for almost a whole year. I mean, that could have kept the lights on here for 10 years.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And when we start getting into that and those numbers going, like, it's
wild.
It's wild. But I do appreciate the Harding Group. I appreciate Cara, who is our secondary, or our main point of contact there. She makes sure our stuff gets done. Heather is involved in our day-to-day bookkeeping to make sure that everything is processing smoothly. This is not unfamiliar to them. Businesses having to like keep pushing their gold lines. So with that done, knowing that it costs to keep Big Damn Films open for a year, I always go back to the tenet that no business makes a profit until its third year. Most businesses operate in the red for the year 1 and 2. We had a lot of unforeseen circumstances. John got sick. The night of the blue moon has been delayed. He was supposed to have surgery in February. We now, as of today, which is March 22nd, have gotten news that he has successfully had his surgery. So we're going to be back on track with where we thought we should have been 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
That also means we're a couple months behind schedule. But looking forward, knowing the costs, I don't know about you, Logan, but I totally feel comfortable keeping the lights on.
Oh, absolutely. It's the minutia and it's the day-to-day dirty work that we need to do as owners of the company. But look, I have more expensive hobbies than this, if you want to just break it down that raw. And the potential rewards and potential upsides, the creativity outlet that this company provides me has much, much higher upsides than any of the other hobbies that I have at the moment. So really, I'm in good shape.
You know what? We're just going to take our 5-year plan. We're going to restart it this year.
Perfect.
And that was year 0. Today is year 1.
Got to start at 0.
Got to start at 0. Getting to 1, we've talked about our Patreon.
We have.
We have talked about merchandise. We have talked about right before Christmas 1 and its release. And we've talked about the ZCon pre-production. So, ironically, those are also topics of today's conversation.
They are, because they are all inching forward.
So let's just jump into Patreon.
Yeah.
Patreon, we're going to be launching April 2nd.
Because we don't want you to think it's a joke on April 1st.
Yeah, well, A, we don't want you to think it's a joke for April 1st. B, in full transparency, our first video ad was, how did Jen put it? Not great.
Not great.
We want to make sure that our first outing for when people come to the page for the first time is a little bit more polished than, well, it's over. So, so we're going to be launching the Patreon on April 2nd. Depending on when you're hearing this, you may already know about that. If you're hearing this for the first time, go check out the Patreon. It'll be patreon.com, I believe, /BigDamnFilms, or just look for Big Damn Films and you'll find it. But kind of excited to get that going. I'm going to be honest with you, Logan. I know you're confident and people, and for you, it's Field of Dreams. We build it, people will come.
Totally.
I am super nervous.
I'm not. It is. And I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to jinx it, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. I'm not nervous because it's not out there. You know what I mean? It is definitely one of those, if you build it, they will come, because we have people that we have spoken to and that we have relationships and friendships and history with who are asking about it, who are asking about how we're doing and what we're doing. And this will be something that we'll have to tell them. It's not just, we're wearing and using our own logo. It's, here's where you can help support. Here's where you can join, the community. Here's where you can help us boldly go where we should have gone 10 years ago. We have, it's one of the next tangential or not tangential, but tangible. So that's the word I was looking for. One of the next tangible things that we have to share with our community from our history. And I think it's just one more piece that's going to resonate and continue.
And I fully have faith in you and trust you. And as 2023 has exemplified, I told you so is well within our dictionary and lexicon. Just for those who aren't familiar with Patreon, I want to take a second and explain the difference between Patreon and Kickstarter or Indiegogo or a crowdfunding platform. So when you're supporting a crowdfunding platform like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, or even Seed and Spark, you're supporting a project, a singular project, or it could be a component of a project, could be pre-production, early release, whatever that project needs. And when that project is done, crowdfunding is done. So when you've raised all the money that you need, either if you've hit your goal, that's done. Patreon is really meant to help have a community fund a creator, kind of like back in the day with Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci. I almost started naming Ninja Turtles.
That's where I was going too, so it's okay.
They used to have patrons who would pay them to basically keep doing what they're doing. And that's what our little community of Big Damn community, to be honest, will help us do. And for that, they'll get access to some behind the scenes content. They'll get to hear this podcast before it goes up about a week in advance. They'll get early access to some of the stuff that we have coming down the line, of like marketing items and merchandise items for projects that we're working on. Once a month, we'll have a Big Damn chat where they can come in and hear about what our plan is for Big Damn Films and talk, like provide some feedback. Like, hey, I love this poster, but I think that one's complete dog crap. We'll do a once a month watch along where we can watch Browncoat's Redemption with people who've never seen it. You get side commentary from us. There's going to be a lot there. And one of the things I'm excited about, even though I'm completely afraid that I'm going to throw a party and nobody's going to show up. We go back to being what we were really good at during Browncoats, which is a community. Where Browncoats at its core was a community of people who were all there to do something.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd like to not only bring it back, but I'd like to evolve it. Because I think one of the, if I can be critical, deficiencies of it was that it was a community for a project, for a singular item, a singular event, a singular activity. Here, we're looking to build a community around the company, around everything that we do, not just one project that we do. And we're hoping to make that a more sustainable activity, a more sustainable and rewarding effort to be involved in and to join in. And we're, again, not only looking to go where we should have gone 10 years ago, but to continue going where we want to go for the next 10 years. So putting that community around the company as opposed to around a project, I think is both a proper evolution and the next evolution we need to take in order to tell Big Damn stories.
Yeah. Speaking of evolution, the one thing that we never did is have merch. Like we had merch for Browncoat's Redemption, which is really just t-shirts, which was so awesome. But Big Damn Films was always behind the scenes. Part of this business and part of rolling out this business and is finding proper partners to create merchandise. But in doing that, there's also quality control to make sure that what's going out the door and when you place an order looks good. And that's kind of where we're delayed. I think we like our hat. We have a hoodie. We like a shirt. The coffee mug that we got didn't come back in the proper colors. So around April 2nd, we should have the final color. And if that looks good, that'll be nice because it'll be the first step of many of having Big Damn Films be the thing that drives everything in the projects be second.
Absolutely. Very exciting. Really looking forward to it. If nothing else, we'll have 2 Patreon supporters right off the bat.
It's even funnier to me because I went and saw Ghostbusters Frozen Empire on Friday. And
how was
it? That, it's amazing. Okay, I got to back up 2 seconds. I loved it for what it was. My expectations were not high. It is a popcorn movie. You have to remember, you got to take your nostalgia pedestal and take it down a few notches. Like, it's not going to be the 1980s.
Of course not. Yeah.
But it's going to, they do a really great job of transitioning it from those characters to actually having, you could see that there's going to be more going on in the future. And where those characters were slight cameos in the first one, they played bigger roles in the second one.
Nice.
But there's a line in the first one that made me laugh because in Afterlife, Ghostbusters Afterlife,
Yeah.
there's a character called Podcast, and he meets Ray Stantz, and Ray Stantz is like, "Oh, you're a podcast title," and the kid goes, "So you're my one listener." So like, and I'm laughing because currently Logan and I are our one listeners. But anyway, we are, as if you're watching, vlog can see that we're our first purchasers, so we buy our own stuff too. So that takes us through the merch drop, which hopefully will be getting done. We'll be able to launch that around the same time as Patreon.
Yeah.
Definitely not doing this April 1st.
Nope. Not April 1st. But, I mean, April 7th or April 2nd, it's got its own holidays too. So we can launch it on National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day, according to your pump.
It's peanut butter and jelly time.
It is, baby.
I think we need to do that. All right. But that also takes us into the next thing, is that we have projects that we're going to be releasing.
Yes.
Whereas before we have been hopeful in announcing these dates and announcing everything rolling out, with what has been going on in the last 3 weeks and with where we've been moving things forward, I can confidently say April's going to be like the launch that we wanted 2-3 months ago.
Absolutely. I mean, Fright Before Christmas is different too, because we have all the pieces.
Right.
We have the files. We have the completed thing, and we're looking to give it the distribution and the release that it deserves. Again, according to today.com, it could be on National Inspiring Joy Day, and what inspires more joy than St. Nicholas?
Oh, what is National Inspiring Joy Day?
All right, so I was looking for a stupid reason, and I literally Googled holidays in April. And today.com, whatever, and I don't know that it's any legitimacy or anything. I don't even care. It's just funny at this point, and I'm rolling with it, is that they listed just a whole boatload of just utterly insane holidays throughout the month of April. There's 8 to 10 a day. And some of them, look, the majority of them are probably real holidays to 3 people, but look, April 6th as National, Hostess Twinkie Day, great. Okay, sure. Whatever you want to say. Some of them are real. We know April 9th is the end of Ramadan. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one. But why is it also National Unicorn Day? I don't know. Do you know? Who cares? It's hilarious.
Exactly.
Let's run with it. At this point,
Logan.
Yeah.
April 3rd is our day.
Hey, you know what? Fine. Which one do you want to pick?
We're doing National Inspiring Joy.
National Inspiring Joy Day? Perfect. Yeah, I love it.
You heard it here first, 2 listeners. Talking to ourselves. Yeah. April 3rd will be National Inspiring Joy / Big Damn Day. As you were saying, we have all the components of Bright.
Yep.
We have...
Got it all ready to go.
Yeah, John did a very small limited release of it before, and we're going to do a bigger release.
Yeah.
And try to get it, if our math is correct, in more hands.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it deserves to be in more hands. There's one of the things that I've been enjoying as we've been discovering John Johnson's kind of back catalog and Darkstone's back catalog are the ideas that come out of his brain, and whether they're in a short, it seems like shorts are often where a lot of his processing kind of happens. And Fright Before Christmas in particular has, was it 5 or 6 shorts, I think, kind of woven through the story itself. And man, some of those, I've paused the video and just kind of sat there and been huh. And just percolated on them because the I love the short take. I love I think that's why I like some of the TikToks that I see, or the YouTube shorts or Instagram reels or stuff. It's yeah, it can be clickbaity, or it can be pointless or just comical or whatever, but sometimes you can get a quote, you can get a short skit, you can get something, and it just, man, it lingers with you. And Fright Before Christmas definitely has those moments in it, and it's worth the wider release for sure.
Well, and for me, it kind of goes back to like it feels like an adult version of Goosebumps.
Yeah.
It's a nice little horror anthology.
Yep.
It's surprising. It doesn't come across this way because it's a lot of humor. But like John has done an amazing depth into the actual lore of Christmas and built a character around it and a little world around it that is like, it is a parallel to the Santa Claus movies with like Tim Allen, where like that is good and wholesome, and that is the face of what people think Christmas is, and Fright is really like the deep lore of it, which is amazing. And then we have Fright 2, which will be coming out Christmas of this year. So you get 2 Christmas movies out of 1
in the same year. It's amazing.
In the same year, which I'm excited for.
Yeah.
So Darkstone films outside of Fright, we want John to get healthy. That is the most important thing for us.
Absolutely.
So we know that he's got at least 6 weeks. So in May, you'll get more of an update on where things are with Darkstone and Big Damn Films. But that leads us into what is Big Damn Films doing? Well, here's your Zcon pre-production update. Script breakdown with premise and characters and the full breakdown of what you can expect beat to beat to beat is in Logan's hands. So I'm waiting for Logan's feedback. I'm going to polish up a little bit more of the script as we go along. I can honestly see myself as a writer being a different person than when I wrote the first Zcon. Like the first Zcon I was writing them, like pulling fun things out of like the wish list of stuff that I thought people would think is cool and what I thought was cool. And it's like, nice. This is like I feel like I'm getting to write a story for me, selfishly, which, to truth be told, like I made brown coats with Heather and Steve and you and everybody else for everybody else. I made the original Zcon under the kind of same guise of this is for everybody else. Knowing the history of what it's taking to come back to this movie, knowing that when this movie comes out, like everything changes. Like this I'm writing for me.
And I think that's how it should be. I think that's the right evolution to take. And I think when you hear some of the interviews with, whether it's a Christopher Nolan or some of the other real storytellers of directors and writer-directors who are out there, they write the movies they want to see. And in some ways, I'm sure, we're all human. We all hope other people want to see them too. But generally speaking, pretty much, that's about how it goes. And I think getting to that point is only going to make a better film.
Well, you are the person who knows a lot of the behind the scene context of what's happened in my personal life and in the film. The closure of this film is a big deal for me. The getting on the other side of it is huge. Big weight off my shoulders, and it is honestly, and I will say this now, and I'll say it in several months from now, and I will say it when the movie's out. Like, there are 4 people that I care like this movie. It's me, you, me, and you. And I say that for 2 pieces. The first, me and you, are the people that like worked on it.
Yeah.
And the other 2 people are the people that's now job to promote it and distribute it and make sure it's sellable. And if all of those people agree with each other, then we've done a good job.
Absolutely.
And If it has worldwide acclaim, great. If it does Browncoat's Redemption numbers, which are still pretty impressive, wonderful.
Yeah.
It's going to piss people off. It's going to get people excited. And it's got enough that it's better than See the Blue, Blood and Honey. The bar was not set high.
The bar was not set high there, but look, how many people start to write a movie, start to make a movie, and don't follow through, can't follow through, lose whatever partially through. Like, there's something to be said for completion.
Right.
And speaking as a, former Indiegogo backer, there's something to be said for, look, I can hate the film or love the film, but regardless, after 10 years, they came back and still made it right and put the damn film in my hand.
Right.
So either way, the act of completion in itself is all the victory that's needed.
Well said.
Thank you.
I like it. I'm glad that's recorded. So one of the things that's going to be happening in the next 30 days from today is finalizing the location.
Yes.
And the way that this script is written is that it is Night of the Living Dead off by way of Clerks. And what I mean by that is, like, both of those movies don't have a lot of location changes. They're really small. And this movie is being written really small. The reason for that is that, A, if we can keep the budget really low on location by not having to go to multiple different places and keep all of the actors in one confined space, we can get things done faster and cheaper. But if somebody backs a truckload of money up to Big Damn Films and says, I want to help you out with, getting you a space, there are room for us to find larger places. Mm-hmm. So currently looking at a farm in New Jersey, currently looking at a farm that's more like a hunting farm in Maryland on the Eastern Shore. And then there's Fort Ritchie in Frederick, Maryland, which I have been told I need to go film something in for the last 15 years. And you and I need to go check this place out.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So in our next update, we'll be able to talk about, maybe we'll record live from there if you or I are both at Fort Ritchie.
Sure.
But we'll be able to talk about what that looks like and where that goes and all the things that go into securing a location, from like getting the rights to it, what insurance is going to be needed, how long we can have the property for, which will define when we can get our actors out there and all of those other fun things. And then looking at the things that go into that, which are also, what are the proximities of hotels? What's the proximity of lodging? Do we have to look at Airbnb? It's like, this is the fun production side of making a movie that, goes into something actually coming to life.
Yeah. And you brought up a good little point there too, in that it's not only the kind of the production side and stuff, but you have to look at the overall timeline of the whole movie too. And we have some talent and some actors who need to have their schedule solidified 6 months maybe in advance. And if we don't start working on this stuff now and getting things squared away, we're going to not have key people that we absolutely need to have.
100%.
So part of this is definitely looking at the big picture as well as the individual task of finding a location, but the bigger picture of finding it with enough time to give our actors the ability to schedule their availability and to get out here and to not have them, risk losing other work or other jobs or other things that they could be doing for their livelihoods.
Yeah. And the other part of this isn't just, scratch that. I lost my train of thought. But no, you're absolutely right. Like, we have to secure the location. We have to make sure it fits everybody else's schedule. I was going to say something. The other side of the coin of this is that it is going to be a script that we can do the same way we did Browncoat's Redemption, which is the way that worked out really well. We take our big action scenes, we do them first, we get them out of the way, which is generally the opening and close of the movie. And then we could scale down to just the core people that we need. And I have found that has worked far better as a production schedule than trying to film chronologically where we may need to have people come back and forth. But it also means that, like, for the big scenes, we could choose to do those on a weekend. So we know the most extras can be there. And then the core actors that we need to have present, we can have the dedicated time to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that takes us through updating all the projects that we've had on our slate in the last quarter.
Yeah, that's what we've been up to.
So what are your thoughts on Q1 of 2024?
I think on paper, I need to temper the feeling that it's underwhelming, but understanding that, just being honest. Look,
I'm with you. That's the purpose of this podcast.
It isn't as much as we thought it was going to be. Right. It's like, we've been now a year and 3 months, and this is what we have to show for it. We've done a lot of work, but a film production and distribution company needs to produce and distribute films. So we have a lot more to go. But I think we definitely cannot be accused of rushing.
Well, and that's actually something I was going to say, is that like, if you, in reality, when you go back and you look at Browncoat's Redemption and the creation of Big Damn Films, we went from 0 to 200 in less than 6 months. We got permission in October. By November, we were calling for casting. By December, I think that December of that year, we were casting. Like, we were filming within, like, the company and the production were running side by side.
Yeah.
It
was running so fast. The production was running so fast, there was no time for the company to run.
Well, not even that. Like, the production was going so fast. There were days we were literally like putting the tracks down in front of the train. Like, the day we filmed the bad guys walking and talking. Like, that was a lesson learned of, like, never count your chickens before they're hatched, or don't go into a location without a signed agreement.
Yeah.
So, like, the amount of things that, to your point, were going on with the production that caused the company to take not even a backseat, but it was 6 cars behind.
Oh, yeah.
I would much rather us have the time that we have. As frustrated as I have been with the shit we can't control that has caused us to have delays.
Right.
I have much rather us have the time that we have, because now nobody can say that we released something without thought. Nobody can say that we released something by rushing it. Nobody can say we weren't mindful of all the pieces that need to go into it to be proper. And quite honestly, like, spending this last 8 months building a relationship with John and getting involved with Darkstone, not just as a company, but like as the community.
Yeah.
You never know what your partnership with somebody is going to be like.
Right.
Present company excluded. You and I have known each other for a long time. We've worked together prior to this. Like, kind of, when you're starting something new with somebody, you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
And to me, like, John, he called us his lucky charm. Like, we're calling him family, because it's not just a business transaction. We give a shit whether, like, we've pushed schedules off to help him. We have not, we have focused on making sure he is okay, because it's a long-term investment in all of us. Absolutely. And because of that, we now have potentially 4 to 5 movies this year. And knowing John, I'm going to guarantee that we're going to get on a phone call with him in 6 weeks. He's like, by the way, I have 3 more that I have to finish.
Easily. And 1 more that he's already filmed half of that we didn't even know about.
Absolutely. and I love it, because it's with John, we never have to worry about what's next. We
Yeah.
have to worry about making sure that we manage the ones that we have.
Yep.
And that's honestly a great problem to have, because that means we can start scheduling out projects. Like
Mhm.
if we finish a bunch of things this year, that doesn't mean we have to release them this year. That means we could actually start building out, taking out time. There's the March episode, Logan. Yeah, I love the music. And we want to thank DJ Zafer for our theme music. He is an actor in ZCon. He'll be coming back for ZCon. Really, really excited and looking forward to that. But Logan,
What can we say? Like, share, and subscribe. Join us in this community and this path we're going down to distribute these films and grow our business and our community with you. Stay tuned for more behind the scenes, non sequiturs, and all sorts of random shit we say.
as always, thank you for joining us, and keep telling your big damn story.